Hey beautiful people, it's just me, and I'm sure it's not just me on this subject. So the subject today is, why are AuDHD people often the black sheep of the family? I bet a lot of you guys are like, yeah, right now. I hope you're not all like, yeah, because it's a hard place to be. But yeah, I feel like it's a very AuDHD thing. So why are AuDHD people so often the black sheep of the family? Because from a young age, we may communicate very differently to people. We question things, and sometimes that just comes across as shitty. We notice patterns and others ignore them. And often, if you're me, you point them out a lot. We react strongly to unfairness. So if something was unfair in my house, I would be letting everybody know, even if it wasn't in favour of one of my siblings. So if my sibling was being unfair to someone, I will let them know. It's not something I can have just because they're a family member. Even more so, I have higher standards for them because they're a family member. So that is a big bone of contention for me growing up. If something is unfair or I feel like it's unfair, then I can't have it. And I have such strong opinions on everything. So therefore, I feel like most things are unfair. So I think they had a hard time dealing with me. We struggle to fake emotions or pretend that everything is fine. So we're not good at lying. So if someone comes downstairs and is like, hi Ellie, what's up? And I'm like, nah, blah, 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 and I spill my whole guts. Where normally people would be like, yeah, I'm good, and just get on with it. With AuDHD people, we are honest and we don't lie. We may need space, routine, or honesty, or we may crave deeper understanding, which a lot of neurotypical people could see as problematic. Like, why do you need so much space? Why do you need so much routine? Why am I not allowed to turn the lights on or off? It comes across as shitty behaviour, but it's not. It's just a basic regular need. But when you're the only person in the house that needs it, it makes you look high maintenance. The difficult child often becomes labelled the difficult child, and it's always the different child that is labelled the difficult child. The sensitive child becomes named dramatic, and the honest child becomes named rude, and the overwhelmed child becomes named lazy, all of which I've had nicknames of some point throughout my life. And I didn't know why. Why has no one else got these nicknames? They weren't aimed at me to be horrible, but they were true. This is how I was coming across. People found me as problematic, whereas my siblings, well, most of my siblings, were not seen as problematic. Many AuDHD people weren't the black sheep because they were wrong. They were the black sheep because they were different in a system that didn't quite understand difference. Honestly, I could talk for hours on being the black sheep. It's a phrase that I only probably came across in my 20s and couldn't relate to anything better in my whole life. I never felt like I fit in with my family. Yeah, my family's lovely, they're amazing. But there is a clear difference between how I see the world and how they see the world. And they will see the world from a particular lens, which is quite similar. I'm not saying the same, but quite similar to one another. I see it from a very, very different lens. And because of that, I was known as, you're being a troublemaker, you're being awkward, we can't take you anywhere because you don't like this, that, or the other. Now, I'm sure they look back and think, oh shit, you know what, there was an issue with Ellie and it wasn't her fault. She wasn't just being a dick and pulling dick moves every time we went out. She was AuDHD. I'm sure now my parents must look back and think, oh, you know, that was a bit sad that we labelled her all of these things. And that's fine, you know. My parents didn't know at the time, and I'm not upset with them. You know, when I first had my first AuDHD child, or the one that I first realised was AuDHD, I didn't treat them very fairly. I thought they were being awkward. I thought they were being difficult. It's only when I picked out that patterns that I recognised in myself that I decided that there was obviously something that was a common denominator between the two of us. And it's only later that I found out it was AuDHD. But it is easy to come across as the problem child, and my parents did the absolute best that they could. I wish they'd been more equipped to know that I'm AuDHD, and this is why I will put it in my paid members section because no one in my family is ever paying to listen to my spiel. They just wouldn't do it. Not even in terms of support. They'd be like, oh, Ellie's got her soapbox out again. Jesus, we can get that for free. But honestly, thanks for listening, guys. If you've ever felt like the black sheep of your family, don't feel bad. I now pride myself on it. I love being the black sheep. I stand up for what I believe in, and I believe in what I think is right. But thanks for being with me, guys.